everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Enlightened Mic podcast. My name is Tim. This is my cohort, intimidating partner in crime, Jacob Willard. How's it going, Jacob? How's your week?
It goes well. Had a really fun weekend. Yourself?
I had a good weekend, less fun than you, probably, but it was pretty good. Yeah, we both went to the Sunday PQ. I don't know if you went on Saturday. I didn't go on Saturday. So
no, I didn't go.
Yeah, cool. Man, I was pretty tired last night, so I can only imagine going back to back PQs is crazy, just exhausting.
Oh yeah, the Saturday one went super late. I think they were playing till 9:30 or something like that. Because they started at noon.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and so they started at noon, which seems like a mistake, especially if you make top 8, right? With if you're just going at noon and playing 5 rounds or 6 rounds or however many they went, that's reasonable. But playing 6 rounds and then a top 8. The match that I was watching was happening at 7:30, so it was just that's basically my night time, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, went to the PQ. It was a good time. We'll talk about that in a minute here. Before we jump into our show today, we have a good show. I want to talk about the upcoming Flesh and Blood seasons. I want to talk about the PQ season. Do a little recap where we think the meta's going. Then talk about when to take it easy in Flesh and Blood, and also Jacob has some super hot card market advice, the stonks man himself. But before we do that, couple of housekeeping things, so to speak. First of all, like and subscribe. You know the drill. Hit the thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button. 2 clicks, and it does good things for our algorithms and things. Second, last week we announced, and I gave some more details on Twitter. We're doing a giveaway of a box of Dynasty, which will trigger at 200 YouTube subscribers or 300 Twitter followers, whichever comes first. And to enter, you get an entry for doing there's some stuff on Twitter you have to do. So I think it's I honestly don't remember where to put it. Something about commenting your favorite hero, and I think retweeting your the tweet as well. And then on YouTube, you just have to smash the subscribe button. And like I said, last week, if you were here before the competition was announced and you were either subscribed on YouTube or follow us on Twitter, you get an extra entry just as a thank you from us. So definitely go and do all those things and up your chances. And then when that's those milestones happen, we'll announce the winner and ship out that box shortly. So
someone will get a chance to pull another, Marvel. Hopefully, get that mech Marvel.
Yeah. We're probably giving away a box with the Marvel on it. Maybe even the Emperor Marvel.
Guaranteed.
Who knows? Yeah. Not guaranteed. Just disclaimer. Jake knows what he's talking about, and terms and conditions, such and such, and speculation, blah blah blah. Okay, cool. So, jumping into our show today. Let's talk about PQ. So yesterday was I think it was the last, at least locally, it was the last week of the PQ season. Mm-hmm. And there were 3 PQs in our area, and then there were obviously more in the Northwest in general. I know somebody next week is some of our team is actually driving up to Seattle to play in another one. That's not for me, but yeah, I mean, there were a bunch of events people could have gone to, and as we started to get more data about the PQ, last week, it was looking like a pretty cool meta. But what just overall first, overall, how was your PQ season? How many did you play
in? So I played 2 PQs, both on the Sundays of the weekend, and I had a blast. I didn't really get to practice enough going into the season. I took a break after Worlds. And then I kept telling myself, I'll play. I think I went to 2 armories. I played some Talishar. But I had really enjoyed this deck that I brewed up. starting at Worlds and kind of just tinkering anytime I had time on my hands
Mm,
in that 2 months I took away from the game. And so coming in with a deck that I was not sure was going to perform, and taking it into a PQ season and seeing some success with it definitely gave me a lot of confidence as like a
yeah.
deck builder, which I hadn't had in this game until recently. So that's cool.
Yeah. And if you guys are curious, go check out our last video that dropped on what the previous podcast. I don't know when this is going to go up, so I don't want to give you a time frame, but yeah, go check out that last podcast. We talk about it a little bit more, and there's a deck link in there. I'll, if I remember, throw in a deck link in the show notes here too. But yeah, so it was like a berserk, kind of like aggro, go wide Rhinar.
Yeah, I
Um,
feel like Reinhar's one of Reinhar's hardest thing is eating fies and
mm,
you can't really race a dash. You can fatigue a dash as Reinhardt, but I
mm-hmm,
think I really wanted to race. I like aggro, so I wanted
mm-hmm,
to take the big green guy and just make him as scary fast as I could. And I think Berserk was really a card that opened up the deck building potentials for that.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, and so I was really impressed. So the first time you took it out, you went 5-1 into top 8. And then the second time, so yesterday, you went 4-2 and missed on breakers. Essentially, you finished
Right.
like
Yeah. I
ninth
bubbled
through
out.
16th or something. Yeah. Um, yeah, and so that's like I mean, a 9-3 record with a your own brew is pretty cool, if you ask
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And the deck's pretty off the beaten track, but right, like there's definitely some tech cards in there that you
Pun
don't
intended there. Or
off the
you said off the
yeah,
beaten track.
yeah, off the beaten trackers.
Yeah, I do have
Yeah,
beaten trackers in the list too.
yeah, no pun intended, but yeah, because I'm not that clever, but yeah, I mean, and like there's, I guess that like if you look at any individual card, like none of the cards are like, it's not like any like, it's not like Wounded Bull, right? Like it's not any like hidden tech, but I think that the way that you constructed the deck is really cool, and all of it comes together to make one unique thing. And that's what I really liked about it. So yeah, definitely if you're listening to this and you haven't seen the deck list already, definitely go check it out. It's really cool. Yeah, I also
How
played
did
Rhinar,
you?
and we're not going to
Yeah.
talk about it.
How did your Reinhardt do?
I did a lot of I did a lot of prep, and so I played a pretty similar Rhinar list in San Jose before Dynasty came out, and I since Dynasty released, I did a lot of work on like a mid range Rhinar version, pretty similar to what I played at San Jose, um, and I did a lot of tuning. I did a lot of tuning of the deck based on what I thought was going to show up and based on some other PQ like statistics that we have seen that were made public. And I went in with a plan, like my plan going in was beat Fi, beat Guardian, and beat Icelander. Uh, and I think that I tuned my deck in a way that would do that, and that I felt really comfortable, executing. And I was very practiced in all those matchups. And then I went in, and the first round was against Oldham, which is it's actually, so this will follow up on this part of the story later. But like the first round, I played my friend Natan, who's you've seen him on this channel if you've been around for a while. He does a really great Guardian deck tech, and then a follow up video about Winter Fatigue. So go check that out if you have not. It's very good. But I played against Natan, and I beat him in a really really fun game where like Beast Within got me to 1 and almost killed me. And anyway, so I squeaked that one out, and I started 1-0, and I felt really really good. And then I went into a Bravo that just did Bravo things and high rolled me, and then I played. And I was like, okay, this is like a pretty expected meta. I could probably win out from here. And then I played Levia, Ryan Armir, and then like an Oldham, but it was like Crown of Providence, like Rainbow Pummel Oldham. So it was just like, it was just, I don't know, it's just not what I was expecting. And I like, yeah, I don't know. It was just like it's just really weird, and we actually played in round like 4 or 5 or whatever. And you won, which I mean, makes sense. Your deck's a lot more low to the ground.
Yeah, I think my
you're
deck is pretty tuned for the
yeah,
mirror.
yeah, and so and we'll talk about that in a minute, right? It's like the local meta is like it has a lot of Reinars, so I think that's a really smart choice.
Yeah,
And
we're
so
dating out here.
yeah, I guess so. So yeah, it was like I was like it's weird because like I was disappointed that I went 2-4. I think I like played fine. I know I made mistakes throughout the day. Like I think I could have maximized my percentages a little bit better, but yeah, I just I mean I don't think I was ever making top 8 if I faced those same matches and like drew those same cards,
Yeah.
But it's like I had a good time, and like I was just like I think my main takeaway was like the local meta here is just like so weird, and like this could be a thing to do with ProQuests too, right? It's like maybe ProQuests aren't representative of like if you were to go to a calling or a battle hardened or something like
Yeah.
that.
Totally. They're not a representative of the most competitive
Mhm,
meta.
mhm,
I think in the PQs, people definitely like to play pet decks.
sure.
And we definitely saw a lot of that. I think the one thing I kind of took away from this season is that Portland doesn't seem as spiky during ProQuest seasons, and by
Yeah.
that I mean we have people playing good decks and meta decks for sure, but we don't see an abundance of what I would consider the best decks or
Mhm,
the meta decks. I
yeah.
think we had an abundance of Fi, but I don't. We had maybe one Fi make top 8,
Hmm.
or we had two Fis make top 8s in both weekends. So that's
Mm.
not a lot.
Was
Then
there a second Fi in the top 8 yesterday?
yeah, Dylan Dart made it
Well, Dylan Dart, and
yesterday.
then who was the other one?
So Justin made it at Fable last weekend.
Oh, but not no, but not 2 and 1 in a single top 8,
No,
right?
no, no. I'm saying over the
Yeah,
entirety of the
yeah,
season,
yeah.
we only had two. And then we don't have. I think yesterday we had like two Icelanders, three Icelanders.
Yeah. So there were two Icelanders in the field, as far as I could tell.
That's crazy. Because
Yeah,
then the next number I'm going to tell you is going to blow your mind. We had five Reinars.
yeah.
We had two Levias. We had um, a Bolton. I think Bolton showed up in a lot of people's local metas all
Hmm.
across the country, but it definitely seemed like our local meta favored Brute, and I don't know if it's because
Yeah,
we see the vision. I don't know if it's because we have really strong Brute players here that kind of put up an example. I mean, we have arguably maybe one of the best Reinar players in the country in our local
yeah.
scene, as he's proven over this PQ
Hmm.
season. Our buddy Nathan Bowman taking down two uh, ProQuest, taking down
Yeah,
first place at two with his Reinhardt deck.
yeah. He
So I
he
think
got second.
we
He
just
got second in the first one, and then he got first place in two in the next two, which is just like
after top eighting a calling at
yeah,
Worlds, like he loves Reinhardt and he's showing that it has legs.
yeah,
So
yep,
I don't know if we're all influenced by that, but I just love the big green guy,
yeah.
and
No,
it
same,
was
and
just really interesting to see Portland gravitate that way. And
yeah.
and then also we had a ton of Guardians. Like I think we had quite an abundance of Bravo and Oldham.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think that like if just based on like my anecdotal experience, like I'd say that like the top 3 decks based on numbers were were Guardian, and then I guess next would be Brute,
I
and
think
or
so.
like Brute and Dromai. I know that there were like 3 to 5 Dromais. I don't think it even made the top 8. There were 2 Dories. Like there were just like every and like we were in like the like top half of the room the whole time, and like every like I saw like yeah I saw a couple of Dories. I saw there were 2 Dories that were just like classic Dawnblade Dories. One of them I think bubbled out, and then there was another one like lower on the tables that was like Axe Dory. But yeah, just like a ton of Levia, Reinar, like all sorts of just like random stuff that like I personally just like wasn't prepared for. So I don't know. I think the next time that I go into something like this, I'm going to just like I'm really fortunate that like I have a reasonable collection just because I've been playing for a while, and I also like if I have any gaps for decks that I want to play, like I can usually hit up the team and just say, hey guys, like I'm missing some staples, so it's like more easy for me to like switch decks and like I don't know, I feel like I maybe made the right call, like just sticking with the deck I have the most experience with that is not Living Legend. And I said that with salt, just so everybody knows. So I played the deck that I have most experience with, and like I had a good win rate, and then I just kind of like tanked the pro quest. But like next time, I think I might just say like, okay, like what's like objectively the best deck, right? Like,
I wonder if that's that's definitely a way to go about it. You can definitely just choose like the objective best deck,
Mhm.
which I think in this case is Oldhim, and I'll
Mhm.
argue with anybody that
I think
argument.
it's Oldhim or Icelander, and I think
I
it
just think
depends.
Oldhim edges it out. Like if you know how to play Oldhim, you're gonna beat that Icelander matchup.
Mhm.
Um, that's beside the point. I think
I think it's
like you can
close.
go that route. I think the other aspect of this, and then it's definitely something I tried to do with my deck, and it's just like build a hero you like for sure, and the one you have the most reps on, something you're super comfortable on, because as we were talking about in Pro Quest season, you can't really predict the meta as well. Even if you're going to all of the armories every week,
Mhm.
you're gonna have people come in from out of town. They're gonna bring some spicy something or some pet deck, some
Yeah.
Azalea or some hero you don't play often. So I think in the way that I tried to build my deck is that it only has like two game plans. It has like
Mhm.
this really kind of like it either goes aggro or I kind of just switch and go defensive,
Mhm.
and that makes the
Mhm.
decision making a lot easier. I'm not, not to denigrate any player who does this, but like I don't really want to try to metagame my sideboard so hard that I'm
Yeah.
switching out 15 cards
Totally.
between matchups to try to edge it out. Because it's like unless you've played hundreds of games and tested all your sideboard configurations, it's still just a gut feeling in a lot
Mhm.
of choices.
Mhm.
It's like, why don't you make that gut feeling a little bit easier on you? Bring a big old suite of armor and just like a good sideboard of power cards into good matchups with
Sure.
things like a race face, your D reacts, your command and conquers, just really strong, solid sideboards. And I think that is one of the strongest ways to build for ProQuest season is kind of just
Yeah.
build for your deck to cover as many matchups as possible without getting too in the nitty gritty.
Mhm.
I think a lot of people bury themselves being like, "Oh, I built my deck to beat Dash, and
Yeah.
I only played one Dash." And it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's on you then. That's not on your, that's not on the field for not providing
No,
you enough Dashes
totally.
to beat. You
Totally.
know?
And I mean, I think that like I can vibe with that. Like it's like just thinking about like some of the decisions I made, for example, is like I was playing unmovables in my deck list because like Dorian Bravo. And then I was playing like sigils because it's just like generally good against a lot of decks that try to do that like last little like boop damage. Um, like like Reinhardt and Reckless Swing.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but and I ended up cutting all those cards because I was like, well, like I don't know, I want to I want to focus my deck a little bit more so that I just beat these top three decks, and then I mean I kind of got punished for it, right? And that's why I think you made a really great call, just making your sideboard. For those of you who played like modern in Magic, the kind of the generic accepted wisdom there is like you can't have a silver bullet for every matchup because the format's so wide, and it's the same thing in Fab right now.
People try in Fab.
Yeah, and I think that like as players we just need to start approaching it in that way of two things. Build your deck as the whole 80 as the whole 80 instead of just 60 plus 20. And then the second one being just have, good cards in your sideboards over silver bullets. Sometimes silver bullets are good, like Arc Smash, like throwing a copy in your sideboard, like yeah, sure. Right? I'm trying to think of a specific hate card. But like, when Chain was in the meta, like Herald of Judgment, right? Like that's all fine, but like for the rest of your sideboard, yeah, CNCs, erase faces, defense reactions, like that kind of stuff is good, and that's a good starting place. And then, did you want to say something else about Rhinar and the local meta?
No, just wanted to talk about Brew showing up.
Yeah, man. I mean, it is true. Like we do have. I mean, it's like yeah. Shout out to Nathan, by the way. And his he's got a YouTube channel actually that has more subscribers than us, so I don't think he needs us to shout him out. But Savage Land News Network, where it's just him like deck teching his Rhinar build from week to week. He does some cool interviews too. With he did an interview with a brute player that won the Battle Hardened in it was a PTI event of some sort in like somewhere that I don't remember. but he does a lot of cool interviews. He interviewed our friend Josh, right? Guy he lost to in the finals. Yeah. He interviewed our friend Josh, who played an insane Icelander, had an insane performance in a PQ with Icelander, and he also just makes like good content and looks at data, and stuff. So it's not just for Rhinar players. So definitely go check him out. That was the PQ. But speaking of PQs, there's been a lot of discourse on Twitter lately about not the PQ like game playing part of it, but the event hosting portion of it. So some things that I've seen and read in Discord and Twitter and whatnot. Player caps has been a big hot topic, right? Like there was even some local drama for us here in Portland with we won't name them at this moment, but they capped their event at exactly. And people, and I think what was most upsetting for people was that they like the event had gone live on their store or something like 2 months before, and they didn't really say anything except for to locals and people in their Discord and stuff like that. And so a lot of people were kind of salty about it. And then the other thing is like prizing. I think was kind of a big question mark.
I think a lot of people are just have a lot of questions about what the value is that we're getting for $40.
Yeah.
Right. I think a lot of people just have a question of, okay, I'm putting forth $40. What is that getting me? And there's a lot of ways you can take that argument. Some people have just been like, that $40 is so you can play at a high level, right? You can come in here and you can have your shot at a PT, not a PTI, but a Pro Tour,
a Pro Tour invite. But
it's
not a professional tournament invitation, but exactly. A Pro Tour invite.
So you get a Pro Tour invite, and that's what the $40 is for. But when you have like, in our local scene, we have like 50 plus people at every single event.
Yeah.
So that's quite a bit of money. When you sit and think about it, you're like, oh, that's a lot of money going into these events. LSS is sending out these prize kits for free, which is, I've never played Magic, but it seems pretty wild that LSS has kind of built their reputation on sending out these free prize packages that I think we all enjoy. I love the mats. I love promo cards. They sent out resource tokens. A lot of people feel iffy about that. I think that's great. I think the resource tokens are fantastic.
Resource tokens are awesome. Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about the sleeves. I definitely have a problem with that, mostly in the instances of winning or top 8ing multiple PQs. Like you have people out here who are very good and can top 8 multiple PQs and they're rewarded with multiple sets of sleeves. That just doesn't seem like much. It seems like LSS is maybe allowing the Dragon Shield partnership to kind of run what their price is. And, I think mats are cooler. I think promo cards are cooler. I think alt art for heroes are cooler.
Yeah.
I think alt art for what I mean. There's just so many ways that you could do this. I think promo cards are probably one of my favorites. If you multiple times top 8 a ProQuest, let's say you do it 3 times, you can end up with a playset of a card. That's cool. That's cool. So when you play that deck, people see that, and obviously people can just buy these things and get their value from them. But if I see someone with a full set, I will probably ask them, where did you top 8 a ProQuest? Did you go to Pro Tour?
Yeah.
But I don't get that when I see the sleeves. Honestly, even knowing that information, I just don't feel that way.
Yeah.
They're just it doesn't resonate the same way for me.
One of my I make the joke that like I have my Fandel spring tunic sleeves on like on my dash deck, I think. And every time I see, like, if I'm playing Dash and I sit down against somebody who has Fandel spring tunic sleeves, I'd be like, "Oh, what pro quest did you top eight?" And sometimes they're like, "Oh, I bought these," and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, top eighted this pro quest, no big deal." Um, but it's like it's kind of weird though. Like, the jokes aside, like I agree. I think that it's so yeah. I like the idea of having something you can use in your game, right? So the sleeves are a surefire way that like you can display that you made top eight at a pro quest. That's great. Same thing with the like, well, not the same thing with the resource token because it's like the top 24 random or whatever. So I like that idea. But that being said, like a pack of dragon sleeve or a pack of dragon shield sleeves is $10, and so
It
and
has an
yes,
actual finite value to it.
yeah, exactly. And so like if you really like the art or like you put some sort of value on like, oh, there's scarcity because like only 8 people per event get this or whatever, like sure. And like yes, you can like I know that like for the Fiendel spring tunic sleeves, I know that like our friend Archer, he who's on the team, he like sold his for like $50 or something, which like I think is too much money, honestly, but he got 50 out of him, so good for him. So there's that, like yes, there's like resale value.
I mean, I think the biggest problem is that they're borderline disposable. Like sleeves
Yeah.
are disposable. They
Yeah.
rip, they tear, they get dirty. And I mean, I'm the type of person that like before I go to a big event, I like to just buy a fresh pack of sleeves
Mm.
and re-sleeve my deck.
Yeah.
It's satisfying. I like it. I don't really $10.
Yeah.
I don't really care. But like with these prize sleeves, I'm like collecting them now. Like I have
Yeah.
a collection of these sleeves that I don't want to open. I think maybe they'll have value in the future, and I could sell them 10
Hmm.
years from now for
Hmm.
some change. That'll be cool. But
Yeah.
I don't know. And then
But
I think
oh,
the other concern people are having are what LGSs are doing
hmm,
and what LGSs are providing. And I think it's a reasonable concern to pay $40 for an event. Um, and really, you got to think about how do I put this nicely? People that aren't as good, and people that know they aren't as good, and know
yeah.
that they're going to place in the bottom half of a tournament, and it's like it's really disheartening to pay $40, kind
Hmm.
of know that you're going to do worse, and then you're not going to top eight. Like you have the dream of it, but you kind of know
Yeah.
that you aren't going to top eight, and you know that I'm going to walk away from this event with 2 packs for my $40.
Yeah,
Um,
that's rough.
it can hurt. I think I don't necessarily agree with the way that people have chosen to gripe about that specifically,
Yeah.
um, or if people understand the full breadth of what goes into running an event or hosting an event like
Hmm.
this. And there is something to say about the event is what you're paying for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You are paying to get together with a large group of people in a more professional setting with judges and
Yeah.
have some type of private support, regardless if it's just the 2 packs. It's just hard, man. Like we
Yeah.
went to a lot of ProQuests, and we went to ProQuests where I'm not going to name names. We went to a ProQuest where you get better prizes at their armory than you would from like if you played
Yeah.
5 rounds at the armory, you're probably gonna get like a pack a win, and if you win three
Yeah.
times, that's 3 packs. That's better than the 2 packs they get you for going
Yeah.
three whatever, three
Yeah.
three at the quest, and that's gotta hurt for some people.
Yeah.
So I
And
think that there is a conversation we need to have. But what do you do as LSS? What do you do? It's more of a community oriented
yeah.
thing on how we get value for our money at these events, and it is
Hmm.
a bit of voting with your dollar. But that's not necessarily voting with where you could go to a ProQuest. It's voting with where you spend your armory dollars.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
LSS likes to give people bigger events when they have uh, strong communities,
Hmm.
which is smart on their part. So really, you need to. be going to shops where the arm rates are exceptional,
Yeah.
and those will be the shops that are getting the better ProQuest.
Yeah.
Not to disparage any local shops. I think all the local
Yeah.
shops
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
got deserve the ProQuest and did adequate price support based on what they were able to provide. And I think thinking about the larger context of the price that goes into it, um, it can factor into how people view their pricing out. So, an example would be we neither of us went to the Gongai one on Saturday, um, but their pricing was the same as every other event. So
Mhm.
it was like two packs for everybody, and then you get additional packs for being in top 16 and then top 8
Sure.
and so on and so forth. But I know that Gongai went the extra mile and they provided everyone donuts at the beginning of the
Yeah.
event.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They provided free drinks. They provided like hot dogs and chips. It's like that's awesome. I didn't. Neither of the ProQuest we went to provided that, but we did get free coffee at two different events. I know that we got. I feel like some people go the extra mile with like decorating and
Yeah.
making this space feel nice.
Wait a minute. Was the coffee
This
yesterday
was
free?
Was the coffee? I don't know if the coffee
I don't
yesterday
know.
was free. But
I went to go get coffee at like 1, and the dude had already left, so I was a little bummed out.
Yeah, so what he's talking about is we had a little coffee booth at our ProQuest yesterday. It was pretty adorable. He set up in the corner, and it was just like he had, we live in Portland, so it's like ethically sourced blends and stuff. It was really nice coffee, and just having that in the building was nice. And that's the things that people need to consider is like putting that together, renting a space, especially if you want to have an event that's 60 plus people, which is what we talked about with the other ProQuest that capped at 32. They didn't think they had the space, and a lot of places people are upset, because of capacities, and it's like, yeah, not everyone has the money, or people want to make profit on these events, and they might lose out if they buy a 60-person space and they only get 4 more people than the store could hold. And then it's like, okay, cool. So we just spent a couple hundred extra dollars for our community, and the community only provided me 4 more players, which barely cost the cost of this room. And people need to think about that.
And and I think
also judges aren't free.
Yeah, exactly. Judges aren't free. That's right. Yeah. So there is a judge stipend or whatever, right?
Pay your judges. It's their time.
Yep, exactly. I mean, and that's a whole other like God, we could do like a whole podcast on that on paying judges. But I know that I was talking to our friend Phil, who's he plays frequently at like Fable on Wednesdays and stuff like that. Really great judge. I think he's L2. But yeah, like him and Ryan Wood, for example. Ryan Wood's our local judge again. He was like one of the head judges at Worlds. Like
he's amazing.
He's
the best judge.
He's also just like the nicest, coolest guy, and he's one of the guys where it's like he'll come to your table and like rule against you, and you'll feel good about it. Like like he's
just
that
professional and how he lays it down.
And same thing with Phil too. I don't know if you've experienced with him as a judge, but Phil's great.
It's just direct. There's no attitude from them. They're both very professional, which I like. Ryan especially doing player meetings, making sure everyone knows where the clock is, just everything, every little detail you would want in an event. It really goes a long way, and there's a lot of credit to be given to judges. And they deserve to be paid for their time, and I think players need to factor that in too. And for the time, they're going to eat into your prize packs, and I'm okay with that.
And so and that's the thing, right? So it's like. So my side of this is players are spending money to go to these events, whatever the entry fee is. I don't know if they're all the same or whatever, but so let's say they cap it at 64 players, which I think is like a reasonable amount. Okay, so to fit 64 people, you are probably not you're probably not gonna be able to do it in most shops. Like we have a shop here called Guardian that is like. That they could probably do 60 people or 60 some odd people in their space. In fact, I know they can. They can do several hundred people if they wanted to. But they're basically in a warehouse. Like they're a huge store. But for the average store like Fable Hobby, Gongai Games, Discs and Dice / Fab Foundry, which go check all. I think they all sell singles and they're all really great. So go check them out. But like if they cap at 64. they're going to need to get a space. So they're going to need to like rent a space. And renting a space is, as somebody who used to manage restaurants that had event spaces for rent, they are not cheap. So and that's just for no amenities or anything, just having bodies in the space. And maybe like most places provide like table and chairs, right? So having those things is going to run you at least $1,000 or more. And so there's that. There's the time of your staff running the event, not judges, but your staff, whoever you bring with you. There's the cost of your time, which a lot of game store owners do not factor in because they love the community and what they do so much. Bless them. And then there's the pricing too, right? And so you spend $1,000 on a space, and you have like yesterday we had 50 people register. So 50 times 40 is 15. Oh yeah, 2,000 exactly. So duh. So yeah, 5 times 4, 20. Then add the zeros. Anyway, so yeah, $2,000. So you spend $1,000 of that on the space. You spend let's say $500 on the day, which is a low estimate. $500 on the day for staffing, for the judges or whatever, for all your like other expenses. That's $1,500. You have $500 left. And then pricing. Okay, and let's say minimum packs $2 or two packs a piece for a player. If that was pricing across the board, 2 packs a piece, that's 100 packs. That's a potential value of $300 to $400. It's actually $400 now, especially with Dynasty because they upped the MSRP. So that's $100 left. And so, what do you do with that $100? Do you make the pricing
is that your profit? Exactly.
Is that your profit? Do you make the pricing more top heavy? Does LSS need to step in and help with this? Like, I don't have the answers because I am not like a dedicated like I don't own a hobby store. And I've talked to hobby store owners, and I've talked to small business owners, and they are doing it because they absolutely love it and because it's their passion, and that's amazing. Like that, like it's great. I can't imagine holding an event like yesterday, and it wasn't even like the flashiest event. Like it was. Oh. They had a little coffee stand. The bathroom was in a Subway next door. But they put in so much effort. Like they organized everything well, and the decorations in the room too were sick. Yes, they had a bunch of like dragons and like paper lanterns and stuff.
It looked like the throne room. He really went all out, and he did the same for last season. He had everything looking like Everfest.
Yeah, it was really cool.
On it really goes on it from Fab Foundry really goes the extra mile in making his events feel special. So and that has to be factored into the money that people spend. And obviously, not every shop does that, but I feel like from what I saw, Guy, they did the same thing. And then Fable Hobby is like probably our home shop where we play the most. And I thought that event was run beautifully too. It's just like you got an extra space. Provided free coffee at that event, free coffee and cold water, and we had a single shop and really great pricing at that event. So I just think the pricing conversation is more nuanced than a lot of people are giving it credit for.
Yeah, and I think too. Go ahead.
I was going to say one last point on this topic though is there is a conversation that popped up around multiple Pro Tour invites for bigger events. So I know that, like I said, all of our events were 50 plus. We had 2 that were 60 plus. And I saw on Twitter there was events that were like 120 people, 150 people, and then I saw events that were 12 people. I saw events that were 15 people. And I actually don't know where I land on this, and so I definitely wanted to just ask you, how do you feel about that? Do you think that someone that beats a room of 12 deserves a PTI as much as a person who beats a room of 150?
I mean, I think that there is something to be said about. I think the player cap thing is like a lot more nuanced in like yet it's costing people so much. Like, I think it should be higher than 32, but I think it should be like, I don't, but asking somebody to do that is like, it's a lot.
I'm asking, like, if you go for a big event, do you think that the LSS should be awarding multiple
Well, yeah.
Pro Tour?
I'm getting there. Yeah. So the you said something that I forgot to mention, that like there are people who are capping their events at like 8 or 16. And so I saw multiple reports of several stores like capping it at 16 and running like 4 rounds cut to top 8. And because they didn't want it to go long, or because they just wanted to have locals or whatever. And I was like, okay, that's kind of messed up. And not to say that like the player who won that or whatever is not deserving, but I think that's more of a structural issue. So whatever. As far as large events are concerned, yes, I think that would be a terrific incentive for people, right? It's like LSS could just say, hey, if you have 120 people at your ProQuest, we'll give you two PQs or two Pro Tour invitations, or like an extra gold foil or whatever. Like, I think there's a lot of ways that LSS could probably at a low overhead improve the incentive for store owners to run these events. And so take this with a grain of salt, because I think LSS is doing a overall really great job of running these, like doing these seasons. But I think that there is some stuff that they could do to incentivize store owners to essentially market their game for them. Because like we just, with our, kind of napkin math, we broke it down just now, and it's, you're ending up with like maybe $100 in your pocket. And I mean, that's not enough to run a business. You can't sustain yourself on that. Like, and yeah, it's like, that's not even factoring in the cost of like your like store rent, and like all the stuff you have to pay just on a day-to-day basis as a business, right? Like, that's just the event. So it's not sustainable. And yeah, so I think there's a lot of ways that LSS could incentivize stores to hold bigger events, to whatever. But I think there should be something about like it's tough because there are some smaller regions that actually don't have like 32 players or whatever. But I do think that LSS should set like a minimum cap, for example. So it's like you can't cap it any lower than 32, or you can't cap it any lower than 64. And then I think they can make a strong argument of like, well, if you have 50 players registered, you can rent a space or something. But yeah, I don't know. I think they should. I don't think that they should necessarily take power away from the store owners. I think what they should do is provide better guidelines, and along with that, just incentivize the store owners better. And I think that I think that the good PR you're going to get from whatever money you spend on the additional prizing, which honestly I'm assuming that like a gold foil probably doesn't cost LSS that much to make, right? And that's a whole other conversation. But and like if there's a ton of players, like put an extra invite in there, or make it a PTI instead of a
Do you think it could be something as simple as a Pro Tour invite for every 60 people? Because like I think that a field of 60 is reasonable for one invite.
Yeah.
So it's just like, but if you're at 120, I feel like 2 invites is reasonable. Like the top 2, that's still very hard. You're still gonna have a top 8 cut. That's the same.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with that.
I think it's just whenever the Swiss bracket jumps. I don't know exactly off the top of my head. I could go to Flesh and Blood's like tournament page and learn, but I know that they have like a Swiss round jump.
Yeah. They have tiers.
It's like 7 rounds of Swiss.
Yeah.
And so it's like, when we make that jump at a PQ, I think you just jump the invites. It just makes sense. It's like you're still waiting through a really big room of people. There needs to be.
And that's the thing is like, I'm like, if there were more like, I think that if there were like, there's definitely a downside to having more rounds, right? But I think too that like, I think that for a lot of players, it's like, well, I went like I'm like, I'm 2-2, and it's like, yeah, if I win out, I might make top 8, but like if there's like, yeah, and then it's like I might make top 8, and then I like might win the bracket, and then I might get a PQ. But like if it's like, oh, there's a ton of people here, and like if I go like X2 and make top 8, like if I win it out, if I win out, make top 8, like I just have to win a couple matches, and then like I'm guaranteed a Pro Tour invite, and if I win that, then I get the gold foil or whatever. Or and then along with that, it's like, okay, well, like if I go X2 over 7 rounds and I bubble out, like the prizing's still good, and it's like I think that like the onus is kind of like on LSS in a lot of ways, but also like it is on the store owners, I guess, but less than the LSS, I'd say. But overall, they're doing a great job, and I'm sure that the next ProQuest season, the prizes will be fine either way. So,
speaking of which, have you seen the prize kit for Skirmish season?
I have not. Please enlighten us.
So it is going to be an Arachne map. I can't remember the card.
Oh, Arachne solitary confinement or something. Or is that?
No, that would be amazing if it was that mat. No, it's a different mat. Let me see here. There it is. So we have. Is it Razor's Edge? It's him like attacking from a clock tower. And then we have 2 cold foils.
Mm-hmm.
For whoa, what? 2 cold foils per event. So 2 of those mats of the Arachne mats, 2 cold foils, and then we have rainbow foil heroes, all the new heroes.
Okay.
So Arachne, Self, Solitary Confinement, Riptide, and Azuri, all coming in rainbow foil as are they prizes? They might just be door.
Oh yeah, I don't know, but that sounds great.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This next season, Skirmish season, looks like it has an amazing prize kit.
Yeah.
Are you gonna play? Are you gonna
maybe? Maybe. I don't really care that much about like XP. Like I kind of care about Elo. Just because like I think it's a good way to like measure your success, and I'm toxic with myself. But I don't really care about XP, and skirmishes don't give you Elo, so I'm like, I don't know. Like the prize.
Either of the formats.
I am interested in sealed because this the limited format looks really good for outsiders, but
just so people who don't know, the 2 formats are going to be sealed at some of your stores and constructed blitz at the others.
Yeah, exactly. And so I do like. It kind of depends. Like if I'm really amped about outsiders, I might make plans to go. But current state, like I have so much like I have so little like opportunity to like get out to events that like, and it takes a lot of planning. And like my wife has to like watch our child and our puppy all day. It's like it just takes a lot for us to get out. So. I like to kind of I like to just save, pick my moments, right, for bigger events. We planned out and went to San Jose, and that was okay. And then I went out to this PQ yesterday, and I don't know if like to me skirmishes are worth it. Like they are like pricing wise, it seems, and I actually do really like the blitz format because I'm toxic, obviously, I don't think I'll make it out, but I think that everybody who has time should.
Yeah. So are you going to take this as an opportunity to maybe take a break? Are you going to so that's kind of how I'm viewing Skirmish season.
Yeah.
I definitely am a CC player. That's my favorite format.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to spend a lot of time on it when I have it. But also I've been spending a lot of time with this game. And so I kind of look at Skirmish season as a way to kind of pump the brakes and chill.
Yeah, totally.
I think if I do catch an event, it'll probably be a sealed event.
Same, yeah.
Just because that sounds like fun. It does sound like fun to open up some packs of the new set and kind of just, is it the new set? It has to be the new set.
I think so. If I registered for a sealed event at a shop and went in and it was Uprising sealed, I'd be like, can I get my money back though?
Yeah, so I think I'll do it for that. The prizes look awesome.
Yeah, the prices
I
look great.
actually have nothing bad to say about the prices. I think I'm just going to take it as an opportunity to
Have fun.
spend time on other hobbies. Like
Yeah.
I just have other things that I like to do, and not not to disparage anybody who plays Fab for a lot of their time and that's their main hobby, but like it's nice to do other things, and I think that LSS is kind of giving people who want to play this game at a really high level
Hmm.
kind of an opportunity to chill out
Yeah.
during the skirmish seasons, or at least that's how I see it.
Yeah.
Not that you can't play, not that you can't like, I one of my first major events I won was a skirmish, and
Yeah.
that felt huge. Being new to the game, I would on the transfers of this. If you're new to the game, if you're less than 6 months in this game, you are grinding right now for skirmish season. Go
Yeah.
out there
Yeah.
and give yourself a skirmish win. Feel that level up. Play at the next higher level. It'll
Yeah.
be very rewarding.
I
For
think
anyone who's been
that's
playing
that's
this
a good
game for over
point.
a year, take a break.
Yeah.
Just chill for a little bit.
I think that's a really
Just
good
chill.
point. Is that like I think skirmishes are awesome because they are appealing to like more spiky competitive players and less experienced players because it's Blitz, which is the most approachable format, and it's also a good format if you ask me. And so yeah, I think that's a really great point, Jacob. Is like the just having that bridge that because the competitive players will be going because it's like 6 times experience modifier or whatever. So they're trying if they're trying to get into that 90-day XP bracket or whatever, then that's great. If they're or yeah, if they're just like trying to be more casual and like go and like play some Kano at a Blitz event or something, right? Like I think
Maybe I'll spike with a Reinhardt. Just go bring
yeah.
some really heinous Reinhardt build.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think skirmish is actually a really like nicely timed and actually really fun event. I top aided a skirmish once and it was a blast. I was playing Oldham and it was busted. Viscerai was more busted though.
Oh, this and that in
Yeah.
the Skeleta Blitz.
Yeah, yeah.
That was
Yep.
awful.
It
Kill
was
you in one turn.
pretty
Yeah.
filthy. Yep. But yeah, no, I highly recommend skirmish season for sure, or just taking a break. That's always healthy, right? Like it's not worth. I like, and I won't name names, but there are people that I've talked to recently where they're just like, oh, like Fab is just not fun for me. Jacob knows who I'm talking about. It's like Fab's just not fun for me right now. It's like, well, why are you here? Like,
Why are you grinding so hard?
yeah, yeah.
Playing 2 different events.
Yeah, exactly. And
Just
it's
chill
like,
out.
there's
Get away for a little bit.
there's a time where like and Jacob and I we were talking about this like yesterday. It's like, man, after this PQ season, like kind of want to like have a Wednesday like board game night or something, like a night where we skip an armory and just go and play some board games or like have a drink or like paint some minis or something, right? So yeah, and I think that's healthy, and I think skirmish season is a great time to do it because it's like you're getting all these CC reps, but like you don't need them yet. So yeah,
and it's 2 months of time, and I think that based on the OP announcement from James White at the beginning of this year, that is kind of the point. We're getting 2 skirmish seasons. We're getting one PQ season. I think we're going to get another one way near the end of the year.
I think in like August or something, or like July or like late summer. I think we're getting another PQ season, if I'm not mistaken. But...
No. We're only getting one this year.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like they're breaking it. Yeah, they're breaking it up. So it's like it's one PQ season, which we're in right now, and then it's a skirmish season, and then we have Road to Nats.
Oh, right.
And another skirmish season, and then at the very end of the year, probably after.
Gotcha.
Worlds,
yeah. Okay.
Then we get another protest season.
Okay.
So they've really like mellowed it out and given players the amount of time in between when sets come out and when big events are to kind of chill out and because I think last year was just go. We had major event after major event after major event.
Yeah.
If you're playing this game at the highest level, that was just a lot of your time. And even if you're playing at the level that we're at, which is just right below,
mid tier grinders.
It was still a lot, and I think that I'm going to take advantage of what LSS has presented us in these little pockets of time to enjoy the game in a more relaxed and fun way, and not be grinding Talishar games every night for 3 hours and
100%
trying out every deck I can. It's like just chill out, play some sealed, open some packs, enjoy your friends and your loved ones in a different way. You know.
Indeed. So we were going to talk about best time to buy cards. You want to give us why don't you just give us like the 2-minute down low on that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's really easy. I think.
Then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah. So right now, this is for anyone new to the game, or people who are really building out their collections right now. The most expensive time to purchase cards is in the middle of a ProQuest season, or leading into any major event. So if you have Worlds coming up, or we have Nationals coming
Yeah.
up, cards are going to spike because people are looking to buy things for their deck. They're trying out new decks. If they find a hero they really like, they're probably going to deck it out so that it's as strong as it can be. That being said, right after these major events, right after these seasons, pretty much 2 weekends from now, there's going to be this very small pocket of time, probably about a week, where everything's going to plummet. We're going to be right in between a major season, which is ProQuest, and right before spoiler season, which cards will also spike because people are going to start speculating and buying speculative cards. So, if you are interested in this game, new to this game, literally next week, I would say, watch prices on cards you really want. I don't think this is going to affect Spring Tunic and CNC. It'll probably affect
well,
them,
maybe a little bit.
It'll affect them like $7-8.
Well, you still might be able to, like you could, depending on your local trade scene and like whatever's going on TCG, but you might be able to save $10-20, something like that, right?
So we're just, just heads up to everybody. We're about to go into a time where me and Tim were even talking about cards that we wanted to purchase, and we were looking at prices. And I was just like, you know what? If we hold out a week, we might be able to save like $10, $15, $20, especially if your hero you want to build is off meta, didn't perform well in the season. Those cards get very cheap. And so it's just a small, minor bit of speculation, but I think it's really helpful for anyone who's trying to collect this game or get into this game right around now, which, as we've seen in the local scene, is a lot of people. A lot of people coming.
There's a lot of new players, and it's great. It's awesome, and even take Dylan Dart for example. We mentioned him earlier. One of the top 8 5 players in our PQ yesterday. Like, he started like 2 or 3 months ago, and he's slaying it. Like, when the first couple times I played him, I was like, oh yeah, like this guy's new. But then we like had a conversation, and like he was like, oh, like maybe I'll try this, maybe I'll do that, and then like the most recent time we played, he just like stomped me. Like he maneuvered the game like expertly. Like, he really put in the time and really like got the reps, and and I'm just looking forward to like the competition of Fab just going up and up and up like that, because it's awesome. Well, cool. Anything else before we wrap it up, Jacob?
No, I think I hope everyone had fun this PQ season, whether they won or lost or top 8 or whatever. I hope everyone enjoyed their games. I hope everyone learned something new and hopefully met some new people. Because at the end of the day, that's the best part of this game is meeting new people and geeking out over a cardboard game.
Yeah, I mean, just like an anecdote on that too is like, because that's exactly my thought too. Is like yesterday, I had already like kind of scrubbed out, but I was playing it out because obviously I don't, I wanted to trash my elo, and we were just like standing outside. It was like you, me, and Dylan, and like a couple like Josh and like Nathan headed out there, and like we were all just like, we were all kind of tired from like that day, and then. But then we just started like geeking out about like weird like builds, and we were like, oh, like Iris of Reality Dromai, and like then we were like it was just like so fun to like oh, like this would be so cool, and it's like it's so cool that we can like go and like grind and like most of us were like, yeah, we're not making top 8, but like we're having fun and like we're like geeking out about the game, like despite the fact that we just like got defeated, right? So it's just like it's those moments that like. That I love, and why I will continue to play Flesh and Blood, because the community is so great. So
it's the bigger part of the game, and I think if you really just prioritize how you're performing in the game, you're actually missing out on the largest part of the game.
100%. 100%. Well, that's a great note to bring us out on.
Yeah, man.
You can find me at Enlightened_Mic on Twitter. And you can find Jacob at G Williker. I'll have the Twitter handle somewhere down there during the video. Anyway, anything? Do you want to shout out anything
I think we did so many shout outs in this
we
episode.
did hella shout outs in this
locals
episode.
that we like and stores that we like, but I'll just run the list again.
Oh, okay. I'm into it.
Fable Hobby, amazing shop. Go to their website for singles. Fab Foundry, obviously a pillar of the Fab community. Check them out for singles.
Fable Hobby, boom. Fab Foundry, boom.
Awesome community. Locals, we have Dylan Dart.
Gone Guy, boom. Dylan Dart. Awesome dude. Oh, hold on. Pause there. Dylan Dart, also just an awesome ass dude. Like the nicest guy you'll ever meet. Right before he murders you.
Yeah. So yeah, those are all our shout outs.
Oh, and Nathan's cool too. Yeah.
Nathan Dolman, yeah. Go check out Savage Land News on YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah, and have a great one, you guys.
Yeah. See you guys. Say bye, Jacob. You kind of already
Bye.
said bye. Okay, bye.